Hello and welcome to the show. Ah, thank you so much for joining me on Tammy. I tell you what, sometimes it's those technical difficulties that come about, but I want to thank you so much. Listen, this is the end of our Power of the Now series for this particular month. We're ending it with a bang, and we have a great guest. His name is Andre Amiger, and I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because we're coming right back. The Curry Insurance Agency has served the community for over 30 years with hundreds of trained representatives to assist you in selecting health plans. Curry Insurance Agency is the largest marketing insurance group in the state of South Carolina for Medicare Advantage and represents all major health carriers. Curry's motto is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Call the Curry Agency today at 803-536-0889. Welcome back to the show. Well, listen, I'm so glad that you could join us today. As I told you, we've got a great show planned for you. I mean, this guest is phenomenal. One of the things I always start out with is what's on my mind. And what's on my mind today is helping your neighbor. Listen, I've seen a lot of things lately, and I noticed that there are quite a few homeless people. And there are quite a few people who do not have a lot, and I think it's time for us as a country, as a people, as a nation, to really help those that don't have a lot, especially during this time of COVID. And I always want to encourage you: wear your mask and social distance and wash your hands because it's still out there. But one of the things that listening to the news and listening to what's going on about the inflation, what's happening with that, and food prices going up. I mean, I went in the store, I was like, man, I'm not buying in this food, that's too high. So at least hopefully now I can lose some weight. But I want you to really be serious about how you go about your days now. It's more about living your life, as I said, to the fullest. Everybody says that, but people don't really get it. We're not promised that we're going to be here for the next minute. I could fall out on this show. So be careful how you treat others and help your neighbor. All right. So that's what's on my mind today. I'm not going to rant today because I want to get to the next guest. Listen, he is a 3-time stroke survivor, an educator, a music producer, an engineer, best selling author, mentor. He's also the co founder of Responsible Artistry Inc. with his beautiful wife. And so I want to introduce you to Mr. Andre Amiger. Come on out, Andre.
I'm here.
What's happening, my brother?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing well. Listen, I enjoy talking with you, but you didn't say your famous thing, so I'm gonna ask you again. How are you?
I am black-tastic.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, and mahogany, hi, my darling. Um,
You
it's just great to have you on the show. Andre, the both of you were on the show together last year. And so this year I wanted to have you come on and Mahogany will come on as well because you all are doing a lot of things right now. But one of the things that I wanted to talk with you about is your book, The Impact of Influence, Volume 2, your best-selling book. Tell me a little bit first, before we do that. Tell us a little bit about Andre.
well, as you said. First of all, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you right now doing this. Um, I, the book is phenomenal. I'm phenomenal because I've survived 3 strokes. Uh, like you said, I'm an educator, a music producer, engineer, a mentor, teaching artist. I can keep going because I'm just so energetic. I'm so just full of life because I understand how that works. And you and I had a personal conversation, so it's very important that we take every day like this, the last day, and keep it pushing. When it comes to the book, I always tell people that I was uncomfortable and I had to become comfortable. So I had to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. Like when I first started interviewing and talking to people, I was so nervous. I was stumbling over words. I was just all over the place. And now it's like a walk through pop.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. So one of the questions that I want to ask you about, we're going to talk about the book a little bit more. But I said the very first thing when I introduced you, and you also said, it's a three-time stroke survivor.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
was your journey like overcoming your strokes?
Uh, wow. Well, the first one I didn't feel it as much. It didn't affect me as much. The second one put me down. It put me down for about 3 years. And the third one was it put me down, but the third one probably was the most critical one because it was more mental than physical. And so that took a toll on me. Mentally, it took a toll on me physically, but my physical presence was, stronger in that sense because
Hmm.
I had to learn persistence. I had to learn to keep going. For example, the doctor told me that I would be in a walker for the rest of my life. I
Mm.
was like, okay, you don't know me, so I'm going to show you. And so I walked in the doctor's office about a month ago, and I walked no cane, no walker. I was
Wow.
like, here I am. Okay, now what's next? So
Wow.
so the thing about what I've learned is I had to eat different. I had to
Hmm.
take time for myself. Like self-care is very, very important. Um,
Hmm.
I actually had to really just stop and realize that I had to take care of me first. I mean, and my wife would tell you, I was always doing stuff for everybody else. So when it came to the book, and I had my first book signing, I realized like that's the first time I ever, in 51 years, did something for me.
Hmm.
You mean so it really took a toll on me in a good sense. It allowed
Hmm.
me to see that okay, you got this. I mean, you have survivor in your DNA, so you got to keep going and keep pushing. My son told me the other day. He said, "Pop, man," he said, "You are how you put it?" He said, you beat the odds. Like you really beat the odds. Like so
Hmm.
beat the odds." And I just say, I told him, I thank you just for seeing that in me. I told him, I thank you for just noticing that push. So sometimes you around people who need that push. You're the push.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know,
You're a walking miracle. You're a walking miracle, Andre. Let's
thank you,
face it. You really are. You are a miracle.
thank you.
And one of the things I want to go back because you just said something. You said it was more of a mental thing with the stroke. So talk about that because I know there are some people who are taking care of their loved ones who've had strokes and are going through it.
Right. So the mental aspect was out my I don't know what you call it, but my mental status was so unbalanced. Like
Hmm.
I was in the hospital for I think almost 20 days. It didn't affect me because I was in there with all that care, all the people around me all the time. So you don't have time to think.
Hmm.
The day came when I had to be at home, and like a week later, it bombarded my mental. I was thinking, irrational. I was having mood swings. I was so all over the place. And so my wife was like, what's going on? I said, I don't know. Something ain't right. Something just ain't right. So, we what we did was I always call it the basics. We changed eating. I changed what I do. I changed, people around. I started, meditating more. Like, I even started praying, more because I was like, okay, this is not me. I don't
Hmm.
have these kind of thoughts. So I said,
Hmm.
okay, I need to work on this. And so, I definitely started writing more. And that's really one of the things that really helped when I started writing. I started writing
Yeah.
and started painting. And so that helps. But the music part of it, really honestly, that really saved my life because I was doing music all day, every day. All she saw me doing is up and down like this. She's like, "Are you up?" I'm like, I'm up. I'm just, but that's what I tell people this. If you feel those things, don't take it on by yourself. Find something, find somewhere, find some things. And for me, that's what I did. I'm grateful and thankful that I'm still here. I'm grateful and thankful that I had the opportunity to see those things and,
Hmm.
and be able to address them. I mean, so yeah, it's rough. I mean, it was rough. I should should say.
Right. But and one of the things that comes out of that to me is not giving up.
Right.
See, you didn't give up. So what pushed you? What kept you saying, I'm not going to give up?
I'm a fighter.
All right. Hey, that's it. You
I'm
can't
just
you
like
can't sit.
it's not funny, but I had to fight at school a lot.
Me too.
It's like this was a walk in the park. I'm like, okay, you want to fight? Let's go.
All right. So
You
you
know,
said, let's go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
I was like,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah.
I took the gloves off, and I said,
Hmm. Let's go.
let's get
Let's
them.
go. Hey, Andre, let's talk about being a music producer because I'm going to get to the part about the book, but for people to understand how you started writing this book and everything, I want them to really get a feel of
Right.
all of the aspects of you. Talk about who influenced you to become a music producer and some of the folks that you work with. I know.
Hey, so, well, my favorite producer is Quincy Jones. I like how he develops artists. Like I watch what he did or what he does, and I did that. But goes way before then. My mom told me that when I was in her belly, she said that she thought something was going on because I would move all day. I would just be regular, and so she would go down to the back then they called it juke joint or chicken shack.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then you know that's what you know. Like, hold on, is he? What is he doing? And so she went to the doctor, and the doctor, she asked the doctor, "Is he okay? What's going on?" She said, "Man, your son got his feet kicked up and a thumb in his mouth. He is good."
Good.
And then she noticed when she would go out to the clubs or just put music on, I just started moving.
Just move it.
It started before he got here, so so it started before he got here, and just I kept going from there. Um, I work with different artists, but I love working more so with independent artists because
Hmm.
more independent artists don't have restrictions on them and how they go and do certain things. I don't knock major artists who are signed with labels, but I like working with more independent artists. Of course, Mahoney. I work with her. I
Hmm.
just worked with another young lady here on a good song, on a great song. So I definitely enjoy that. But now I'm actually, and I'm putting this out here is kind of a secret, but I work with some kids that are, ooh, they are,
Wow.
yeah, they are, yeah. I mean, when you
I
see this talent, it's something different.
Wow. So we've got a picture. Is this some of the kids that you've been working with?
I,
Um, I want to see. Yeah.
so the one that's standing up, he's
Hmm.
a math whiz. So what I did with him was I learned that he loves math. So that's how I taught him to work the machine that he worked on. That's
Wow.
that's not the newest kids I have. Newest kids I have, I think I had a picture of them on there, but I have
Hmm.
one kid that just has that. He has it. He has that thing, the it factor.
That it. And you see it in people.
Yeah.
Who have that it. Tiana, do we have that other picture with the kids?
So the one and this one is one that I can't see. Now he's not in. Matter of fact, he's sitting down. Okay, the second to the last kid. There's a
Okay.
there's a video of him rapping, and he is
He
like
he, he a beast, right?
he a beast. He a 9-year-old beast. I mean
Wow.
he know to change when the music change. He know how to slow down when to slow down. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't say none of that. He just instantly know how to do it.
Wow.
I said, "You want to love music?" He was like, "Yeah, I eat sleep music." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow. So we got another picture of you as well,
Mhm.
producing.
That's my newest one with some new kids I'm working with now. That
Uh-huh.
school right there is Robert Small's International Academy, and so I have a new kid.
Mm-hmm.
I have some new kids there I'm working with.
Okay. Wow. I mean, you've worked with some serious producers. One of them I like. Can we say his name? Back in the day. Um, you
No,
know,
I get no other credit. But that's your little crush, as I call it.
Yeah, yeah, the music crush, music crush.
Like,
Yeah, music crush.
yeah.
But just so and people and the way you teach these young people,
Yes, ma'am.
I know what does that do for you?
I mean, it just fills me with joy. When I can just sit down and do what I love to do, and find kids who just love music. And I don't just do kids who love music who don't love music. Some kids just can do poetry. Some can
Mhm.
sing. Some are just writers. I have one young man. He just likes to write. Like he's just a great writer. So
Wow.
like I told him, I said, man, you ever heard of a ghostwriter? He said, yeah, do they get paid a lot? I said, oh, they get paid a lot, especially if you are a good writer. So, I mean, that fills me when I can pull you out, let's say, pull you out of the streets or pull you out of
Mhm.
negativity and get an opportunity to be you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get, my wife and I get this filled up with joy. Sometimes we just sit back and laugh because they just
Wow.
want to turn to grown young people. So,
Hey, listen, these young people now, it's like they come out
right.
producing, they come out as singers. It's no longer the little baby and this and that. Man, you get somebody put a little 2-year-old, 3-year-old in front of an iPad and
And
they
then
can go for it.
writing.
That's right. That's right. They can go for it. So talk about your work-life balance. What's that like?
Crazy.
Well, how do you balance work
Um,
and life?
they almost intertwined because I'm doing what I love.
Hmm.
But honestly, I'm really working on being disciplined because once I get into it, I go for hours and hours and hours and days where I have to just sometimes take self care.
Hmm.
Like my wife and I, we do self care. Once we are going, like I said, we may go like 2 weeks straight, and so we'll say, okay, today is a self care day. Today we got the phones off. Today we don't no media, no social media, nobody.
Wow.
Just go to the water and just take that in. So that's how
Mm.
we balance. We go and take in the water and we just reflect. And
Hmm.
one of the things I've done, and I've had my mom tell me that I always go back every day and I always go rethink what I did the day before and how can I do that better. So we use that in that sense. And so throughout the day, because our day just sometimes just fly by. I mean, like honestly, I was rushing, make sure I won't miss with you because I don't want to get punished. So I said, I got
I won't go punish.
I get the phone cutting off, and it's nothing in this, but to me that's a great thing because you're doing what you love, you're doing what
Right.
you're passionate about. So when your days are going like that, before I knew it, it was Monday. Now it's Thursday. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, what just happened? But then you go back and reflect on what you did
Hmm.
for the rest of
Hmm.
the week, and then you try to top that the next week. So that's what I
Right.
do. Like, every day we look at what we did the day before, and then we go through that, and then we look at the whole week and say, okay, how to uh us go to the next level or go to
Hmm.
or step up the ladder. How do we
Hmm.
set that process up?
Wow. And you talk about self-care, which is so important. Now, I wish I was down there with y'all because here there's no water, and I'm from Charleston, so I've got to drive another hour and a half to get to the water.
It's right.
Um, yeah, yeah, but you all are right there. You can go right there, and there's the beach. Go right there. Talk about the self-care aspect. How hard was that for you to say, okay, I've got to take care of myself? For busy, and I'm saying that because busy people or people who are always doing, and like you say, doing what you love, you don't really think sometimes that I got to eat.
Right.
you know how did you come to that I got to take care of myself?
I started to notice I was getting drained throughout the day. I was noticing that I started to get bags on my eyes throughout the day, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So they always say that you always get a warning before something happens, right? And so I started to notice like I'm in the middle of the day, I'm tired. I'm like, why am I tired? And I'm moving, and so I started to look at the hours I was spending every day before I eat. Right? Most people eat in the morning or midday. Sometimes I go all day, and 2 o'clock I'll eat. So my body was saying, okay, hold on, time out, wait a minute. You got to feed me because you're doing too much. So, I make a regimen, or my wife and I make a regimen that we get up in the morning, we eat something light. And then as we go through the day, we make sure between 12 and 1, we eat. No matter what we're doing, we focus on, we stop and eat. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important that you pay attention to what you're doing. I just had a conversation with my son. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Man, I gotta go eat. I've been running all day." I said, "I have last time we didn't eat." I said, "Okay, so can you put that in your schedule to to pause and eat?" So
Mm-hmm.
that's what things I do. Is like when I start to feel my energy deteriorate, I stop everything I'm doing, and that's okay. Let me get something to eat. Let me get something, to regenerate myself. I've learned
Mm-hmm.
to try to, this part is hard because I'm so hyper. I try to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, and that's extremely hard. Like I just started that, so because I'm getting looked at right now. So
Mahogany.
so it's hard because I work at night. So
Right.
so,
Right.
I do, when it's quiet, I do most of my creating. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm trying to, I try to catch a nap in midday, and then,
Mm-hmm.
I probably honestly, I probably don't get to bed till about 2 o'clock.
That's what I do. I know that. But I heard what you said, and it's about being intentional.
Yeah,
Intentional about how you're taking care of yourself.
right,
And that's being intentional. This is my word for the year. That's myself. My word for myself
right,
is intentional.
right,
Everything that I do now, I'm looking at it as, okay, do I really need to do this, or do I need to do something different? And how can I create that space?
right.
And I think that's what I hear you saying. It's just that space that you create. I love it that you all take the day, don't look at the phones,
Yeah,
don't you're not on social media. And Mahogany, you and Mahogany are always on social media.
yeah,
I love your post. But I have noticed that there have been couple of days, to here in between one or two, where I don't see anything that you've put on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, all over the place.
you're right. Yeah, no, no, and that's that time when I say, okay, pause. And to be honest, we have a hard time doing it because that's part of our daily movement, our daily life is
Hmm.
media because of what we do. So we definitely know that, okay, we say, all right, today is one of those days where nobody gonna get no love and energy from us today. They'll get it tomorrow.
That's I'm looking. I'm looking for that in next 2 weeks. We hook up.
Yeah.
So let's talk about responsible artistry before we go to break. Because when we come back from the break, we're going to spend the whole time talking about the book.
Okay.
Talk about responsible artistry. Tell us a little bit about responsible artistry. What you all are doing.
So we're always trying to reinvent what we do, how we doing it. Because of COVID, we had to redo certain things, certain ways. But mostly what we do now, or try to do now, is trying to put kids on video, and most kids don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the video unless it's something they interested in. So you put a little music on, and they all in. Then you have to pause it and tell them, okay, let's reel it back in a little bit. But our organization, certain things we're doing, and certain things I won't say because we still trying to work on. Um, it's really I guess it's really trying in a sense, but not in the
Mm,
bad sense, but because you have to use the internet so much, and some kids don't have internet. Even
that's right.
some young adults we deal with don't, but they on their phones, and you can't really get that clarity that you want um,
Hmm.
with them, via the phone. So that's probably the most difficult part about it. But in
Hmm.
person, it's all hands on deck. But right now, we're working on a couple of different projects where we're trying to uh, get kids more involved, and
Hmm.
quote unquote, well, out of the streets or out of the negative on into the positive. So that's where we are right now with responsible artistry.
Wow, that's wonderful because I know that you all, this is something that's been a mission of yours, of both of you all, to be in the schools and to, to really be there for kids. And like you say, now it's really difficult because I can only imagine, and you let me know how hard it is for you to teach what you do on a phone for somebody that just has a phone.
Right.
How do you manage that? Is it just talking through it, or do you play music and they listen? And how does that happen?
So we do a lot of volunteering right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where we going to the schools. We're grateful to be able to go into schools and start to work with them. Like, in that sense. Father on their phones. That's the challenge to get them to be on time or to be in the space because when
Mm-hmm.
they're in school, it's structured. Right, it's structured time. They're doing it a certain way, but when they're at home, it's a lot of distractions.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
but that causes a hesitation or a delay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things we're working on now is getting that done. So
Right.
we have a I won't say the software because I'm not promoting nobody, but
Right. 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 I got you. I got you.
we have software we're working on to get them into that, and
Wow.
so we can be able to interact with them more.
Wow.
Um, I think when you showing them what you're doing, like hands on, is a lot better than when you're on the phone. They see a video, but that's
Mm-hmm.
where we're going now. Oh, well, that's where we are in
Mm-hmm.
video when they see it. But most of them asking questions, or most of them want to be there to try it. So
Mm.
getting them try to connect those two together is
Mm-hmm.
where we are at this point.
Wow. That is, it's amazing. I just love you both and how you have just put your talents to use, meaning helping people.
Right.
You all are about helping people. And I think that's what God wants us to do. I mean, He wants us to be out there blessing others and using our gifts and talents to make the world a better place. And like you say, for these young kids, with you all doing it with responsible artistry, you're able to get them out off the streets
Right.
and into something that everybody should love, which is music.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, yeah. Hey, listen, I'm telling you. So what is the one thing that you can say that you want people to know about responsible artistry at this time and how people can help you? How can people help you?
um well, we're always looking for people who have the right mindset, who are like-minded, who are positive. But most importantly, to be honest, we need donors
Yeah.
uh, because it's a nonprofit. Hint, nonprofit. So
Okay. Hello.
we need we need donorships. We need things of that sort to keep it moving, or to keep because we're in a technology world. So technology changes every day in some kind of form or fashion, and so we're always going to need that those donations to help forward the progress.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Well, listen, we're looking forward to it. And I thank you. I thank you for sharing that. And if anybody wants to, I think we have the information, Tiana, that we can share at this time.
that's it.
Yep, that's it. And so you can go to www.responsibleartistry.org. You can go to Andre Amiger. I said it. I said Amiger, but I know better.
Right,
Okay.
it's all
Parlez-
right.
Parlez-vous français? I know better. Amiger. I'll go to www.andreamiger.com and learn more about them. And so, hey, listen, we're gonna get those donors in here and help these young people out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So listen, go grab some water. If you don't have any by you, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the impact of influence, the bestseller on the market now. Everybody's got to get a copy. All right. We'll be right back.
The Curry Insurance Agency has served the community for over 30 years with hundreds of trained representatives to assist you in selecting health plans. Curry Insurance Agency is the largest marketing insurance group in the state of South Carolina for Medicare Advantage and represents all major health carriers. Curry's motto is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Call the Curry Agency today at 803-536-0889. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
Welcome back to the show. As I told you, we are blessed to have this phenomenal guest, Mr. Andre Amiger, aka Mr. Bounce Back, three-time stroke survivor, educator, music producer, engineer, author, best-selling author, and mentor. So welcome back to the show, Andre. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we've had a great conversation about you. And so now, since we've talked about you, responsible artistry, let's talk about the author of Impact of Influence. Tell us about it.
Well, I give credit. I give props to the visionary of the book, Chip Baker. And the thing about it was, he called me up one day, and no, actually, he texted me. He was like, "Hey," and said, I was in before I even finished reading the text. So he called me like 7:00 in the morning. He was like, "You interested?" I said, "I'm in. I'm in. Let's go. I'm in." So I had already started writing. That was one of the things, because that was part of my therapy. And it's still there. I still write to this day.
Wow.
And so he said, "Okay, cool." And one thing I can say I love about him, he looks at people and their influence and how to impact them, what they do. So he's invested in that way. So he used the word help. That's how he did that. So when we first started interviews or started talking about the book, I was like, man, woo, this is different. And he said, I told him, I said, well, and I said it before, you have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. That's so I was really uncomfortable with interviews. I was really uncomfortable. We had powwows. We all, it's a bunch of men in the book. So we all had to get together. And so, you can hear somebody's polished and they talking like,
oh, yes.
Right. I'm on a lot of that. So I'm like, I'm going to get in here and do this. And so I just started doing it. And then, I got pointers on how to do certain things. I got pointers how to say certain things. I got pointers on just overall being me. I mean, I talk fast. I'm really hyper. So that's one of the things I have to, I tell myself, I be like, be still, be quiet. You in control.
I know the feeling. I do.
It was definitely an interesting journey. It definitely was impactful, because I met a lot of different men from a lot of different walks of life, and we all had interesting stories. And you always hear that one thing, that somebody always got it worse than you, and it's true. I mean, certain things, certain men were going through things at that moment. So I feel like the book, for me, it toughened me up. It made me tougher. I mean, it put me in a position where I was really I had to think about things I did. I thought about things that I went through. So I had to put all that into the book, or a piece of it, because I still had some more other things on the side, and say, okay, how is this going to work for me? How is this to push me, forward? And like, honestly, like the first couple of interviews, I wouldn't watch them. I was like,
really?
Nope. I was like, nope, not gonna watch it. Because I couldn't even. I didn't like hearing myself talk. like it was like that. I was like so uncomfortable just looking at it. But then what I noticed was when I watched the video of me, I said, okay. So I went back and watched the first couple of videos. So I was like, okay, you get polished. You really, like you really get this down pat. And so I said, okay. I had to, and I said
Wow.
to myself, even like before getting on with you, I told myself, okay, be still, be quiet.
Listen, hey, you're doing a wonderful job. And I know the feeling because I'm like that. And so you know, as you've been doing this, and I've been doing this for a long time, see, I'm still kind of moving a little bit and
Yeah,
going from side to side, you know, but you do begin to develop your own way of being an interviewer or an interviewee.
absolutely.
And I mean, you're doing great. Andre, you're fabulous, man.
Thank
You like I say. So having said that, and Tiana, can we show the book, please, Tiana? So everybody can see it. Look at all these men that
Yeah,
are authors.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I mean,
I got chills just on that alone because
yeah,
I
yeah.
know that's you know it's like before we go on so we all had a meeting and Chip was like it's not gonna be real for you until you put it in your hand, right? Until you put it in your hand, the
Mhm,
physical copy in your hand is what is gonna hit you. But then he said, what's gonna hit you more for those who had say their moms and family members, or like for me, for my wife. Once
mhm,
I put it in my hand and turned around and gave her her copy, the
mhm.
look on her face was like, I say, okay,
Oh.
this was way more worth it and way more unspeakable words because I'm not sure for words or even speaking any kind of words.
Mhm.
Wow, I like that's what he's saying. He was like, "What you put in your hand? What you have that physical copy in your hand?" Because I read the whole book because he
Mhm.
sent it to us before he got to it. But once
Mhm.
he got here, I mean, she'll tell you, I ran to the house screaming and yelling. I was like,
See,
Dad. I was like, Dad. So, so, so that matter of fact, that the picture you put up that's the first time I had it in my hand.
oh, the one with your hat on
Yeah,
and
that
that one. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I was like, man, I was like, okay, this is for real. This
Wha
is
and you know, that's just like, seeing somebody as you produce their music and you hear it on the radio.
yeah,
And you're like, "That's me. That's
yeah,
me."
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's wonderful. Hey man, I'm proud of you.
thank
Congratulations, congratulations. And you know it's a bestseller.
you. It
So
is.
that's the big thing. And you said bestseller in several areas.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and for me. It's because it's so many different stories in here. It's
Wow.
so many different things that we all went through. I mean, you're talking about you have 18 different men in
Hmm.
one book that have different levels they went through. For some,
Mm,
this is their second one. For some, it's more. For some, for like me, it was my first one. But I
right.
was just honored to be in it. I was just
Yeah.
honored to be around them. And you got guys telling me, man, your story amazing, man. You like, I just love it. I'm like, nah, I love your stories.
Yeah, yeah, you begin to talk with each other, you
Right.
know, as well. So let's talk about being a mentor, because one of the things as we were talking about earlier is how you love working with children. Did you ever think that you would have people look up to you as an influencer, as a mentor, as you know, is that person like, oh man, that's
That,
Andre?
that's a loaded question.
Well, just take your time, think about it.
All right, so well, um, I'm trying to say, so to be honest, yes, because of my background in my
Mhm,
life,
mhm,
right? But to do it in a positive way, to do it where your influence is great. I mean, I have some young men that I when I look at them and I talk to them, I can tell they need that. Right? They
mm,
need that mentoring. I think for me, the biggest part was when their fathers come to me and say, "Man, I don't know what you did, but thank you." That's the reward.
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of young men. I mean, you talking about some 12, 13, 14 years old who smell themselves, don't know what to do with their body changing, you know what I mean? And to sit down and have a conversation with them or tell them, look at me in my eye, man, shake my hand like you here. You know what I mean? Or I had one young man the other day was talking about something he had no idea what it was. I was like, man, listen, don't talk about that because you don't know nothing about that. You're not being long enough to even deal with that. It's something you heard. Speak about something you know. Talk about something you know. Talk about some things you want. But don't talk about something that you didn't heard because believe me, those words carry weight. And those words will bring that attraction to you. And you might not can't handle it.
That's right. That's right.
So be careful. You know, I had a young man tell me he wanted to slap his teacher. I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, I said, pause. I said, wait a minute. I said, man, let's start here first. All right, so let me get a little wake up right quick. So you think if you slap this man, that he ain't gonna slap you back?
Slap you back, yeah.
Listen, secondly, it's a difference between boy strength and man strength, right? I said, thirdly, let's look at this in another way. We said, what's happening all day? Look at this as you're a business owner. You run a successful business, and then your employee attacks you because they don't like how you talk to them. Tell me, is that fair? He said, no, I have to deal with it. Remember, you're a business owner. Think about that now. This ain't the street. Think about what you're saying. So you're willing to pull yourself out of your lifestyle because somebody did something to you that they didn't like. I mean, they didn't like you saying. So imagine you're in school with a teacher in their classroom. That's their domain. You're a child trying to learn from them. Have a conversation first before you put their hands on them, because I don't know where you from. Where I come from, you put a hand on a teacher, you will catch them hands.
Oh yes,
right.
Oh yes,
Where they say you gonna catch the smoke, you gonna catch it.
That's right.
I say so. I can understand that you may be upset about something. Then have a conversation, pull them to the side and talk. But go to verges where you want to swing on them. That is a built-in anger or a built-in trauma that needs to be addressed. And that's one of the things I do now is I've learned that a lot of young men have built-in trauma. They don't know how to deal with. They have built-in trauma that they don't know how to address, right? And sometimes it's generational. It happened before them, then it happened before them, their father or uncles or whoever. So trying to get them to sit down and have a conversation, that's what I see the most. Is that's what most of them want to do, especially now after because of COVID and what's happening. A lot of the young men that I deal with, all they want to do is have a conversation. They just want to talk.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had one that when I looked at him, I said, "Boy, yeah, I used to look like that." He loves to fight. He loves to fight. I was like, "Yeah." I said, "But I'm gonna explain something to you about that." He said, "Is somebody gonna always be tougher than you?"
That's right.
Remember that.
Right. You're gonna meet your match. As the old folks say, you're gonna meet your match.
And I say, what's gonna be funny, they're gonna be half your size. They ain't gonna be your size. They're gonna be half your size. They're gonna show you what that feels like. He's like, how you know it's on there? I said, because I went through it. That's how I
See, they think we don't. They think we haven't been through anything. They think they know the latest tricks and everything. But Andre, now that we're talking about that, this question comes up as how are you preparing your mentees for success?
So it's on my phone. I get them to say mantras, right? So for example, when I first get them in the room, and it's not copyrighted, anybody can use it. I don't want to put that out there. I always ask them from 1 to 10. I say when you first woke up this morning, from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. How did you feel when you first woke up? I saw that. So what that does, that's a focus exercise. That makes them slow down and stop. And actually think how they were feeling. Then I ask how they feel now. And then I do mantras with them. Like I'll do it, I am wonderful, I'm amazing, I'm great, I'm getting better and better. I'm confident, I'm fearless, I'm strong, like I do things to make them say certain things. I would do one that says I would be the best version of myself for the rest of my life.
Mm.
I would love myself for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
you got to pour those things, those type of words into them. You know what I mean? And I think that's where I started when I sat down with them. I get to know them first. I read people really, really good. So when they be, chucking and jiving me, so to speak, I just sit back and I laugh because I remember when I was that same kid, I
Mhm.
was in Greece, and the older guy be sitting there be like, so now I know myself doing that. I just be like,
Right.
yeah, bro.
Yep, see?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hate. And so I start there, and then once I start there, and I'm not saying every day is a great day, um,
Right,
but
right.
I can tell when they're walking and something's wrong. I can tell when
Mhm.
they're on a balance, and they need a second. You know what I mean? They need a time to detox or exhale, and
Mhm.
adults need it. If adults need it, and we struggling with it, how do you think the kids are going to do
That
it?
exactly, exactly. And especially for a male child. One of the things that I learned from my father was that when he came home, we didn't just run up to him. He said, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" And
Right.
we go on, give him time, and he take his time and chill out. And
Yeah.
then he come and he say, "All right, what's going on, y'all? What happened today?"
Yeah.
We sit down and eat dinner. But I learned that even in my my former marriage,
Right.
from my ex-husband.
Right.
He came in, I said, "Hey, honey." He go on, do his thing, and then he'd come in, and then we all would have dinner and talk.
Right.
And he said that helped him more than anything because we realized that he needed that downtime, just like you said. So male children need that as well. Females need that as well. We need that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. We all need to have that moment to because days go, like energy flows. So you may walk in a place and you're just vibrant and upbeat, and all of a sudden you're like, why I feel like this? Because you walked into a space that's not conducive to what you need. So you got to go and exhale. Like Mario tell you, when I used to work at this one company, I just come home and say I need about an hour. Cool. I talk to anybody and do anything. I need a detox from the day because the day was a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah, yeah. So that's important. One of the things I want to ask you about is what are some important things that mentors need to be thinking about when they are talking to their mentees? What are some advice that you would give to a mentors?
Uh, First, I think the mentors need to have self development. It's very important. You got to work on you first before you can work on anybody else. You can't go mentor nobody and give them no kind of guidance if you're all upside down yourself. You have to work on you. You have to get yourself in the routine where you are taking care of you first, and then you go and take care of other people. Like it's a saying, like love yourself first, so you can be able to love everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That's important for a mentor. I think a mentor needs that self development. I think a mentor needs a mentor. Like we all need somebody to
That's right.
need that kickstand, so to speak, or that spare tire. You need that person. If you think you're doing it by yourself and that's how it's gonna go, you're sadly mistaken. It don't
That's
work like
right.
yeah. So I definitely uh, uh, say I would tell every mentor to have a mentor to take care of themselves first, and
Mm-hmm.
then go deliver that to somebody else because you're gonna come across some people, young people, whatever, that need that, and if you don't have experience, if you don't have the ability to do that, everybody gonna crash and burn, and
Exactly.
then that's like you got to start all over again. And
Mm-hmm.
you go through a week, then with kids, and the weekend they come back Monday, you got to reset them all over again.
Now that's true because something has happened.
Right,
A lot
exactly.
of a lot of things could happen. A lot of things can happen even from you they seeing you at 2 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock, if they come back to see you, there's something
Mhm.
else that's already happened. Yeah.
True.
So that's one thing that you would tell mentors about self-development. What else would you say?
Read, get get that knowledge, get that knowledge. Find some books that you like that helped you. I'm an avid reader. I like reading different things, from self-help to just, uh, philosophy. But I think reading is very important. What did I say? A still mind is a devil's playground.
That's
So
right.
if you don't keep on reading and keep on, putting things into you, I think that's one thing. I also think meditation is another great key, because these are things that my wife and I do, on a daily basis. Maybe not together, but
Mhm,
sometimes separate. Sometimes she need her moment where she got to go, and just do self care. I mean, so
mhm.
I'm thinking, reading, because I think also meditating. I also think exercising is another key, because you got to be healthy. You got to be take care of yourself. You got to put yourself on a regimen, a food regimen where you are actually taking care of yourself. Like your body
Mhm.
tells you everything. Like this is 100% true. I've learned it. Your body warns you before it happens.
That's
And when it
true.
happens and you hit that brick wall, and they're like, "What happened?" Go back and think about what happened before the brick wall.
Exactly.
You're like,
Exactly.
"Oh, that's what happened."
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
mom was telling me on my third stroke, I was ignoring it. I was like,
Mm.
I'm just tripping." And then all of a sudden, like
Mm.
I'm so grateful and so thankful that it didn't kick in all the way until I was at the hospital sitting in the wheelchair, and
Wow.
then it kicked in. Like,
Wow.
so it started on a Thursday, mind you, right? I didn't go to the hospital till Sunday.
What?
Yeah, I went to work Thursday and Friday, and Saturday I'm like whatever. Sunday morning, I'm just, and my wife know I'm not clumsy. I fell, boom. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Ain't nothing wrong, man. I'm good." I get up. I went to another step. Bam. She said, "All right, let's go. Something ain't right. Let's go." So and as
Mhm.
we got there, I started, feeling weird. I was like, but Thursday, right? I got the warning Thursday, and
Mm.
I ignored it.
Mm.
I,
Wow.
matter of fact, I was driving Thursday, and I felt something going crazy. Now, mind you, I've been through this twice already, so
Right.
I said no, like, hey, hit, and I was like, man, well, no, whatever, and I, brush it off because once again, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not exercising. I guess shit. I was weighing a whole lot of weight, and so I avoided all the signs.
Mhm.
Friday came. Friday morning is when I really, really noticed it, but didn't pay no attention because
Mm.
went to work, got in the meeting, and it's like somebody put me on pause, and I was like, what, what? "Oh, I'm just I'm having a moment. I'm having a moment." But I was having a moment, but it wasn't a good one. And then
Wow.
Saturday came. Matter of fact, I think me and my wife was went out to eat or something, and I was in the middle of the restaurant. I just paused. I just stopped right there, and I went to say something to the owner, and she's like, She's like, "What did you just say?" I was like, "Oh, you didn't understand?" She said, "No, what you say?" And then that's when she realized, like, I realized, like, okay, something ain't happening, something ain't right. So I was like, you know what? Once again, so now that's 3 different times I got a warning.
Wow.
And then Sunday morning, I was doing something. I got up and I went to walk, and I was like, boom. I was like, what's going on? And then Mari turned around, and looked at me. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. What's up? And I got up, and matter of fact, I was walking down the hallway, and she said, "Pick your foot up." Because I was
Oh.
I was like, "Oh, that's normal." And sometimes I like to be lazy, and I fell again. And she's like, "Come on, we're going to the
That's
hospital."
it.
Like, "Hey, you ain't gonna say it no more."
Wow.
I got there,
Wow.
typed in all the stuff, hit the button, and when I hit the button, it's like a team of just ran out the door. You ever seen the RE show when they just push out the door?
Yes. Yes.
That's what happened to me.
Wow.
I turned around and they put the wheelchair under me, and I fell into the wheelchair. And
Oh
then
my.
they was telling me, "Who you were here with?" I can say nothing. I just point this way. I was like
Oh
I'm
wow.
touching. She's over there, and it just kicked in. So,
Wow.
so the thing is this: self care is important.
Right.
As a mentor, you have to make sure you take care of you first, physically, mentally, and spiritually, to be able to deal with kids or even the
Mm,
young
mm.
adults. And if you don't work on yourself first, how can you go and do that? Right?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, Darlene just said it. Powerful testimony. When I tell you, Andre, talking with you, and with Mahogany, and all that you have gone through, and what you continue to be able to do, it's nothing but God.
Oh yeah.
I knew that when I first met you all back in, Mahogany, years ago.
Yeah.
and and I mean, it was nothing but God.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you for being on the show, Andre, for sharing your testimony and for writing in this book, The Impact of Influence. Tell us how we can get the book, Andre.
Go to my website, andreamateur.com. You get merch, you can get the book, you can get some tracks.
All right.
You get all that stuff. Everything is there. And so I had to learn that, right? So quick story. So they say, give us all your media handles and all that. I'm like, what is that? I ain't know. And so I was like, they talking about your website. So I said, just go to my website. Everything is on the website.
Okay, everything's on the website. Well, listen, Andre, it was a pleasure. So I've got that last question. What are the 3 words that describe Andre?
Strong, persistence, and creative.
All right. Strong, persistent, and creative. And that wonderful hat that you have on, and your hoodie that you have on,
Yes.
it says, be great, be well, and be light.
Yes. Be light.
Be life. Be life. Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. I tell you what, Andre, you are truly a blessing. And I thank God that I know you and know Mahogany. I want to thank you, both of you, for all that you do, and continue many, many blessings. Let's show that website again so people know how to get in touch with you and how to buy the book. Tracks, let me tell you, he got some serious tracks, and also be able to donate to Responsible Artistry. And these are all your handles. Oh yeah, come on now.
Really? I get all that wrong. So I give it. Listen, the people behind you, y'all. Listen, y'all are so dope. Trust me, I would not have remembered none of that.
Well, it's up there for everybody to see, and I urge everybody to go out and get The Impact of Influence. I thank you so much, my brother, and thank you, beautiful wife, Mahogany, for being on the show, Andre Amiger, and it's a blessing. You have really been a blessing to me today.
Yeah, well, listen, I thank you for having me. I thank you for the time, because time is one thing you can't get back.
Right.
So
That's right.
I appreciate you. I love what you do. And we will be talking in 2 weeks for
Yes,
sure.
sir. Yes, sir.
This time, on the show, for sure, to share my story, share my book. This the whole, our organization, and just the whole thing that we do, or that I do, or that my wife does. So we greatly appreciate you, and definitely greatly appreciate your team for doing these things. So I think you're awesome, and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. You're phenomenal, man. You're phenomenal. Listen, you all be blessed and take it easy. And I look forward to talking with you all in a couple of weeks.
All right.
Okay. Thank you again. May God continue to bless you.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andre. Bye, Mahogany. All right. You heard it right here on the Tammy Show. Mr. Andre Amiger and his wife Mahogany. She was behind the scenes, and we want to thank you to Mahogany. But listen, next week for the show, we're going to start celebrating Black History. And our guests are the poetic Angel Howell, and the historian, and I mean a celebrity, is coming on, Mr. Cecil Williams. He's going to be here. You've seen all his work, and I tell you what, this man is going to be on for most of the time, he and Angel. So I want to thank my producers. I want to thank Tiana. I want to thank Willie, Alicia, everybody. Remember, subscribe to the Tammy TV show. That's the Tammy TV show YouTube channel. Please like that. Subscribe. I'm learning all this from Willie and Tia on how we do this. Let us be a blessing to someone today and every day. And so I want you to remember to wash your hands, wear your mask, and social distance. Have a safe and wonderful week. Thanks again for joining this show. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.